When you know who you are, you know where you're going. When you know whose you are and who brought you, you will never be lost. This month we come to celebrate 156 years of the founding of Wesley United Methodist Church, formerly Wesley Chapel Methodist Episcopal, founded by newly freed men on March 4th, 1865, just after the Emancipation Proclamation. These believers had a vision of serving the Lord, preaching the word, and ministering to the least, the lost, and the left out. We have indeed come this far by faith. We went from being a downtown church on 9th and Nature Street to being moved to the Negro District in 1928 per a city municipal ordinance to segregate black citizens from the general population. During the Great Depression, our ancestors sold its downtown church to the Austin Public School Board for $17,500, and the church was built in October 1929 for $50,000. Talk about an undying faith and dealing with obstacles. And now our church has an estimated value of over, from what I've heard, $4 million. That's what I've heard, y'all. Behind the scenes back then, church members worked as domestics, porters, head waiters, elevator operators at Scarborough's, and day laborers, and a few businessmen and women, and quietly fought for civil rights. One could not let their bosses know that they were members of the NAACP, or they could lose their jobs, or even worse. Some pioneers from our church included the late attorney Virgil Lott Sr., Dr. Everett H. Givens, who was the first black dentist in East Austin, Dr. John T. King, Dr. Connie Yearwood Connor, Mr. William Tears, an undertaker, Dr. E. Marie Gilbert, Miss Fannie Mae Lawless, who was a coordinator and the matron for the colored YWCA on East 11th Street, and many others. We now have numerous educators, executives, business persons, insurance agents, certified public accountants, beauticians, nurses, attorneys, engineers, public servants, and many others. We also continue to maintain a long-term relationship with Houston-Tillotson University since 1879 and helped to establish the Austin Area Urban League in 1977 as it relates to civic and community outreach. One can truly say that we have indeed experienced a year so very different from any other in the history of mankind. In March 2020, really January 2020, came the coronavirus. Worship service changed, mission outreach changed, interactions changed, and the grieving process changed. How did the church respond? We continued to press on with the help of technology to reach all of God's people and our viewing congregation. We are still blessed to uphold the bloodstained banner of Jesus Christ and minister to all of God's people. Check out our worship services on stewardship at wesleyunited.org to learn more about our mission outreach efforts. Thank you so much for helping us celebrate and remember our humble beginnings as a church. Amen. We will never forget the legacy and the strength of our ancestors, and that their prayers will continue to be answered. We have come this far by faith. We pray that our faith will continue to carry us into the future, whatever comes our way. We know that we have always been undergirded by his love, his grace, and his mercy. Remember to hold on to God's unchanging hand. He won't let go of you because you are his own. And now I turn it over to my co-chair and assistant church historian, Miss Anita Dabney. Thank you.
Good morning, Pastor Chase, Wesley family, and friends. We thank our historian, Ms. Youngblood, for giving us some key highlights of the Wesley story. It is important to look back and appreciate where we've come from, particularly when we recognize the legacy granted, and it inspires us to move forward. This year, we also acknowledge we are living history. So we wanted to create an opportunity for the future Wesley to hear our first person voices of Wesley who have lived it. In the future, there may be many who will wonder, what was it like living through this time for Wesley members? Months of historic 2020 and 2021. This has been a time of pandemic, over 500,000 souls passing. And what is the ripple effect of that? Think of all the lives touched by those losses. A year of civil protest, shining the light on racial injustices in America once again. A year of political turmoil, and of course, the Texas freeze of 2021. Pastor Chase says that trials are one of the threads that weave us together and unites us. But let us realize that through trials come testimony. And today we will listen to a few Wesley members share some thoughts about their experiences of this past year and offer a message for us now and tomorrow. We invite and encourage all of you to help us continue to celebrate this anniversary by sharing your reflections through a short video, and there will be information in the newsletter and the website about how to do this. Those are other threads that unite us. We appreciate those who have been generous in offering their encouragement. Thank you and God bless you. And let us hear now reflections on love, grace, and hope.
Hello, everybody. My name is Don Tisdale. I'm a lay servant at Wesley United Methodist Church.
And I'm Vanessa Tisdale, and I do the name tags at Wesley.
The biggest thing for me during the pandemic, the biggest thing that I've had to deal with has been the isolation. During the week, normally we had several meetings that we attended, and they were face-to-face meetings. I miss going to those meetings, and I miss that personal contact. But a couple of the meetings are on Zoom and Skype, and while those are just fine, but I still miss the meeting people face to face and having a chance to talk to them in person.
My biggest challenge has been that I had a grandbaby born during the pandemic, and it was difficult to travel to St. Louis to see him. But that has gotten better, and I guess as far as a blessing, it's the same blessing that I have a new grandbaby.
My biggest advice for everybody during times like these is to follow the science and not the politics. Politicians don't know what they're talking about most of the time when it comes to scientific data. So ignore them, follow the science, stay safe.
All of my good days, they outweigh my bad days, so I won't complain.
My biggest challenge ever since March began and the quarantine, all that stuff began, has definitely been trying to keep my physical health right. Obviously not being able to go outside, being paranoid to do, simple things like taking a walk is really limited what I'm able to do and limited what I'm able to do for my body. So by far, that's definitely been one of my biggest challenges. Ways I've been blessed and during quarantine has definitely been the people that I've met so far. Trying to engage myself in other online places to meet new people, and I've definitely met some great new people that have helped me through the harsh times. So that's definitely been a big blessing to me. And my message to the Wesley UMC family is to one, make sure we're prepared. I know when quarantine hit, a lot of people were unprepared. So that's obviously one. Two, stay safe. And three, just reminder to keep your faith in God, especially during times like this and times like the weeks prior with the Texas freeze thing. Keeping your faith, knowing that everything's going to be all right, knowing that you got a bed to sleep in the next morning. It's a great thing. It's remaining grateful for what we have.
I won't complain.
Put those hands together all across the building tonight. Let the devil know that you're encouraged. Let him know that you're encouraged. Let him know. Hallelujah.
Hi, Wesley family. I'm Louise Lynch. Some of the greatest challenges that I've had during this pandemic have been really trying to support others through it. At first, I was racked with anxiety about this whole situation. But then I really had to center myself in the peace of God. And I reached across and helped others through this in the most intimate way that I've ever had to do in most of my life. It was quite challenging. Some of the greatest blessings that I've had is that I've had 2 grandchildren that have been born during this pandemic. And there's nothing like a grandparent's joy. Some of the things that I think are really, really important is for us as a church family is to remember that no matter what the circumstances, we can help others even when we're home. And I think that that's really important for us to remember. The thing that's been so important for me is my prayer life, my engagement with Bible study on Monday night, and the children's church. Man, I've loved those things and they've sustained me. So my message to you, Wesley, is remember love, grace, and forgiveness. And open up your big hearts to everyone.
Hi, my name is Ellen Scales. My greatest challenge over the past year has been staying productive. Since last March, it's been hard to stay motivated. My family has been able to stay safe and comfortable during these hard times, and that's been a blessing. My message to the Wesley family of the future would be that it's important to stay active and have fun.
Hello, Wesley. My name is Ken Harris, and I serve as your financial secretary.
And my name is Gina Harris, the chair of the Health and Wellness Ministry.
We're so happy to participate in this 156-year anniversary history project. One of the challenges that we have faced over this past year has been the fact that we have not been able to see family and friends, and that we've had to wear a mask all the time.
We've missed some milestone celebrations, such as a 70th birthday, family reunion, and overseas travel that we have planned.
We have been blessed in that both of us have remained COVID-free. We've received both of our vaccinations, and that we've become much closer as a couple because we spent much more time together.
Ken has been able to work from home, and though I had to physically go in as a healthcare worker, I was never put in direct patient care, so kept out of harm's way.
Based upon our experiences over this past year, our message to the Wesley UMC family future would be that we should continue to embrace our use of technology, and particularly our media ministry, as it has been an excellent expansion of our evangelistic reach.
When checking on some members of the congregation a little more senior than me, one of them remarked that Wesley is now behaving as a church should, a little bit like Luke, calling in the middle of the week to see how you're doing and is there anything you can do to help. And a little bit like Barnabas, the encourager, offering a few words of wisdom as well as receiving a few words of wisdom. These small acts of kindness give our members a sense of worth and value, and is a practice we should carry forward after the COVID-19 pandemic.
Happy anniversary, Wesley.
I'm gonna hold